Welcome to Choices with Jeanette. I'm Jeanette Harris, and thank you so much for watching Choices with Jeanette. You know, Choices with Jeanette has been in existence since November of 1998. And the reason I named it Choices with Jeanette is because I found out that there were so many organizations that were writing grants that the people didn't know about. I said, I'm going to start a radio show and tell everybody about those organizations that have money to help them. I did that. And then the reason I named it Choices with Jeanette, because that's really what you have. You have an ability to make a choice. You have the ability to make a choice. The number one thing that I love more than anything else, and the number one thing that I love to talk to people about more than anything else, is forgiveness. Now, you know we've had a lot of disasters in Houston, in Miami, in the northern part of California with the fires, in Puerto Rico. And it was almost like before 2005, you remember 2005 was Katrina. But before then, it was almost like America was exempt. It was like we were exempt from the disasters. Because I did a show on it on my radio show one time, and I pulled up all of the disasters that had happened all over the world. And it was like, if something would happen in the United States, it wasn't a lot of people dying. Things are changing, so we have to do things differently. And one thing I want you to do differently is I want you to forgive each other. Don't change that channel, and don't you turn this video off on YouTube. What I need you to do is I need you to just give me 5 minutes to talk to you about forgiving. You know why you want to forgive? Because it's holding up all of your blessings. Faith worketh by love. And God said in his word that if we'll forgive others, then he'll forgive us. And I don't know anyone. Sometimes I walk in rooms because I do seminars, and sometimes I walk in rooms and I'm saying, who has a problem forgiving people? And maybe one or two will raise their hand, but I know then, I said, they don't really understand what forgiveness is. So let me tell you what forgiveness is. To forgive is, and forgiveness is, so those are your definitions for forgiveness. Sometimes people think forgiveness is a feeling. I will do it when I feel better about it. No, forgiveness is not a feeling. Forgiveness is a decision, a choice. You choose to forgive someone. You know one thing, no one can forgive anyone for you. Only you can forgive that person. And you said, but Jeanette, I'm afraid they'll do it again. And I'll forgive them, but I won't forget. I look at people when they say that and just say, why in the world would you want to remember that pain? Let it go. And I'm not telling you to forgive. If you don't remember anything else I say, remember this. I'm not telling you to forgive so the other person will be let off the hook. The person that hurt you, because hurt people, they are not somewhere wondering, are you all right? It's you that's inflicting the pain on yourself when you don't forgive. And people say, well, I just don't want them to hurt me anymore. And I don't feel better about it. That part is not your part. That's God's part. You forgive and allow him to heal you. He does it real good. All he wants you to do is make a choice to forgive. He says, choose life or death, blessing or cursing. He gives you the choice. So it's up to you. And I'm not telling you to make yourself feel better about it. If you don't remember anything else I say, remember this. I'm not saying that you're going to heal yourself. God's going to heal you. I'm telling you that you're going to make the decision to forgive. God also said in his word, and I base all of this on the King James Version of the Bible, he also says in his word that, be ye angry. And I think anger is good because anger kind of tells you something is wrong with a situation. It says, be ye angry, but sin not. So he knows we're going to get angry about some things. He knows we're going to hear some things. Oh, what did she say that for? What did he do that for? He said, be angry, but sin not. He said, let not the sun go down on your wrath. It started off in anger, now it's in wrath. And you're never supposed to go to bed with that unforgiveness. You're never supposed to go any time with that unforgiveness, to be honest with you. Because he said when you stand praying over in Mark 11, he says when you stand praying, forgive if you have aught against any. And so when you stand praying, you should be praying over your food. Let's just use food as an example. How many times do you eat a day? Well, you know, we've all been taught since we were little bitty children to bless our food. So when you bless your food, that's a prayer. He said, when you stand praying, forgive. And so sometimes I meet people and they haven't forgiven in 10 years. And they haven't forgiven people in 20 years. And some things happen to them in their childhood. All of that is your baggage you're carrying every day. So he never intended for us to do that. He never intended for you to have unforgiveness in you ever. Not ever. He never intended for you to have unforgiveness in you over a long period of time. Let's just use food for one example. Say you had breakfast. Okay, so when you pray, then you had an argument with your husband in bed last night. So you're going to forgive him for everything that happened before breakfast. That takes care of that. Then you're hungry again, right? Because he didn't have to let us keep eating all day. We could eat one time a day. Then you're having lunch. You're forgiving again. You walked in your office and someone has sabotaged your production date of having something out. You just forgave them at lunch. And then that evening, you're still hungry. You want to eat again. So when you bless your food, I'm blessing my food and I forgive. And I believe we ought to I include forgiveness in every single prayer. Father, I forgive, and I come boldly to your throne. That's how I pray. And so he never intended for you to go over and over and over again, year after year, with that same unforgiveness. Trust me, it's holding up your blessing. And forgiveness, you said, well, Jeanette, it's so much happened. I can't. Start where you are. And everyone has seen a cabbage. I don't know why I'm always using examples of food, but a cabbage. And you know that cabbage is in layers. And you pull this layer off, and you pull these leaves off, and then you go there, and there's still some more cabbage. And then you pull these leaves off, and then there's still some more cabbage sitting there. So that's what's going on with forgiveness. Every time God brings up someone that you need to forgive them. And you say, no, I don't want to forgive them, because if I forgive them, then this will happen. They'll do it to me again. No, because love never fails. Love never fails. You know the Schrodinger, I said it right, theory that the cat was both dead and alive. Well, that's one of the things that we as believers have going for us. Even if we don't even use Schrodinger's theory, which the cat was both dead and alive, we, as a Christian and as a believer, we supersede that. We supersede that. Good example. We had a hurricane in Houston. We've been talking about Republican and Democrat and independent and new power and repower and all these different factions. And that hurricane brought out the best in us because it superseded, that's how love does. Love supersedes the situation. People from everywhere, they didn't care if you were black, green, silver, gold, whatever. If you needed to get out of the water, you needed to get out of your home, they were coming with boats. People were coming from other cities. Everyone was trying to help everyone. No one was saying, well, we're not going to help them over there because there's all the Spanish people. No, everyone was helping everyone. And that's how love does. Love supersedes whatever it is that we are going through. So, I hope I've given you some reasons that you need to forgive. I'm telling you, it'll clean up your life. And the other thing is, you don't want anything holding up your blessings. I look at people and go like, oh no, I'm forgiving you for that because I'm not letting anything hold up my blessings. Jesus said in Matthew 9, says, what's the difference between saying your sins are forgiven or be ye healed? So I want to walk in divine health all the time. I don't want to be sick. I don't want to be sick. I really don't do sick well. So I don't want to be sick. But anyway, I hope I've said something that'll encourage you to forgive. I want you to go to my website. I have a great CD on there. And the CD is available along with a process of how to forgive and with me talking more about forgiveness. So, you'll go to my website, www.choiceswithjeanette.com. I hope you go there. I'm telling you, it's safe to forgive. I do it in 3 different ways. You can get the CD, or I'll meet with you one-on-one, or I'll come and do the whole process with you and your family, or the whole process with you and your company, or the whole process with you and your church. I'll do it, and I guarantee you that you'll feel better and you'll grow better. Because if I didn't have any sin in my life or any things that I had done to hurt people, even it's just going to the grocery store and the little girl not knowing exactly how to run the cash register, and we get short with her, and why didn't she know that? And why would they put her on the floor? It's all the same. It's all the same. It's all the same. So you gotta forgive. And you gotta be forgiven. Okay? You wanna be forgiven. And you wanna be blessed. You wanna be free. You don't want all of that baggage. You wanna be free. And you wanna be able to move about this world and get the blessings that you're supposed to get. Okay? My number is 832-409-4295. Email address, jlh@choiceswithjeanette.com, or you can go to my website and book me to come to your organization or your family, or you can just buy my CD. I really appreciate it. It walks you through the whole process. There's an exercise that's on target to help you forgive. Thanks. Welcome to Choices with Jeanette. I'm Jeanette Harris, and thank you so much for watching Choices with Jeanette. And I thank you all so much for calling people that you see on my show. I really appreciate that. I think I have the best guests in the whole wide world. I really do. My guest is Charlotte Jolivett. And she's written a book. And the reason I invited her to come on the show was because just her lifestyle of love. She has been married 51 years. How do you do it? How did you do it?
Well, I believe that I got a revelation of the word love. And I believe that love is one of the highest elements in the earth realm for everyone. And when you get that revelation of the truth, then it automatically propels you to stay in a marriage that may be bad, or in a situation it may not even be a marriage. It may be just a friendship, or it may be a job situation, or whatever life throws you. The word love is an element that only God has given us to operate in, to win.
Well, love supersedes everything.
Yes.
Yeah, love never fails. So you were married 51 years. That's a long time. And you look great. Give me some of the things that because I know you didn't just get married and then all of a sudden you knew these things to do, because there's some things that you can know to do, but it's hard to do them, and it's hard to do them consistently.
Yes. When we come to the life journey, we get stuck because we don't know what to do. So therefore, I believe that when we find out, just as we seek education, when we seek what journey, where you're going, whatever you're seeking, I believe that you'll find it when you start seeking it with all your heart. So I was on a journey to seek what the true love was.
Wow.
Yes, and I found it. When you seek it, you'll find it.
So during that time because I know it wasn't always easy, and there were things that you all had to learn, and there were things that he had to learn, things that you had to learn, and even the people that were around you all had to learn.
Yes.
What were some of those things? And so we can tell people, because there are people out there now who are saying, boy, if this doesn't change in a hurry, I'm out. You know what I'm talking about.
Yes, yes. The thing that I believe that in any situation is to recognize what voice are you listening to.
Okay.
And I had to come to the realization to really understand and recognize if it was a voice that was trying to tear me apart, or was it a voice that was trying to elevate me to the destiny where God was taking me.
So February 15th, it'll be 52 years. When you look back, was it worth it?
Oh, I'm about to do a shout. It was worth it. Oh my God, thank you. It was worth it.
That's a long time. So when you look back, what were some of the lessons that God had to teach you?
It's simple, because most of the time you're going to say the wrong thing, and you cannot take words back after they have wounded a person. So I had to first learn how to shut up and choose the words that was going to edify him, to speak to the king that was in him, and not to the situation that I saw in my home.
Oh.
That was an element.
Say that one more time.
I had to learn how to speak, because a lot of times when we speak, we're speaking to the wrong words. So I had to speak to the king that was in him, not what I saw and what he was doing.
Well, when you go to the Bible says a chaste conversation. So that's what you learn how to do.
Yes.
To have that chaste conversation.
Yes.
That will win a man.
That will win him.
Oh, my goodness.
You'll build him, edify him. Yeah.
Sometimes God is working on you at one stage and working on him at another stage.
Very good.
So I'm sure he wasn't working with you all on the same stage at the same time. Even though you were having a chaste conversation, it still was not matching his growth. So your all's growth wasn't there together.
Okay.
How did you deal with that?
Well, it's the power of grace that will actually, to me, it's like a pyramid. We starting off apart, but as we are recognizing the voices, the power of life and death that's in the tongue, we start listening to and recognizing God's voice, then it becomes like a pyramid, and we grow up, and the miraculous miracle, we make the tip where we actually are together. The two shall become one.
So you all were were really not in control. So he,
Very good.
yeah, you weren't in control. Then he took what you did and just said, I know her heart, I know his heart, and he just let it grow together, even though it wasn't matching. Isn't that beautiful?
Two shall become one. A God ideal.
Beautiful. You don't have to worry about, he's not where you are. Just your heart, let God look at your heart, let God look at his heart, and let him mesh it.
Yes.
And not us mesh it. I never thought about that
Yes.
until just then. Sometimes when we're in a relationship and we have made up in our mind, I'm gonna do right.
Okay.
I'm gonna do what it takes to make this marriage work. And just when you put your heart into it, and just when you put your flesh into it, because most of it is flesh, and just when you put your flesh into it, and you say, I'm gonna do what it takes to make this marriage work, the worst happens. Not the best, the worst happens. Yeah. And so you almost want to go to God and say, look, you're not straightening him out fast enough. I'm going to give you a little assistance, God, seeing how you need some. And you're saying, don't do that.
No. No. Mm-mm. Because the power, God is the power source. So therefore, it has to originate with him. And he gives you that love. It's called agape in the Greek word. So you're on a solid foundation when it's agape love. And then from agape love, you blooms. And whatever storms comes in your life, whether it's a marriage, whether it's the harvest in the city of Houston, God is the one who is orchestrating our lives.
Yeah, but Charlotte, you know I love you. We've been friends for a while. I love you. But you're not there that next day. That makes no sense that next day.
Very good.
That makes absolutely no sense. And that's what I want you to tell them. I want you to tell people how to get to that next day. Yes. How you get to where because sometimes we say, and we prayed, and God did. But it's a whole lot that go in between that and God did.
Yes.
Even though and he did, because he's done all things that pertain, given us all things that pertain to life and godliness. Yes. But it's so little. He says like a grain of mustard seed, which when it is sown in the earth is less than all the seeds that be in the earth, and then it grow, and then when it is sown, it grows up and it's greater than all other herbs and shooteth out great branches, so that the fowls of the air may lodge under the shadow of it. Okay, you come to that. Okay, but that didn't stop it from being a seed when you prayed, and that didn't stop it from being done when you prayed. Yes. But it had to come to a place where it goes into fruition. And there are times when you see no hope, and there are times when you see no light. And that's what I'm trying to get you to say, because 52 years, you had a chase conversation, but it was, you had to come to that. You had to come to that place where you said, look, jumping on him, jumping down his throat, doesn't work. I got to be quiet next time. And then you tried to be quiet the next time, and it didn't happen. And then you tried, you was 3/4 of the way. And then it took a while before you came to the full place of, you know what, he's a king.
Oh my God, yes. Yes.
He's a king, and I'm going to recognize him as a king, and I'm going to treat him as a king. Yes. Now, how he handles his business is between him and his God. I'm going to handle mine between me and him, my God.
Yes, yes. I sort of call that the Deliverance 101.
Okay.
Because every time I would see something in him and would point a finger to him, God would show me something that I was doing, and these fingers are pointing back at me. So therefore, when you're looking for a mate, when you're looking for a situation, I think the person that's looking for that need to make themselves ready. And God dealt with me so many issues that was in me forgiveness, things that I wanted to really walk out. I wanted to get the divorce. I saved up the money and couldn't go to the divorce court. And then I had mentors from afar and great teachers that would impart in me the wisdom of God. And out of that seed that was planted in me bloomed up a beautiful garden of life for me. And that's the way I did it. That was the seed that was planted in me.
So you had support.
Support.
You had godly people around.
Godly people.
Because
Yes.
you know, if you're fire already, you don't need anybody to put that fire on it.
Yeah, no, you don't
I
need
need
that.
you to splash a little water on me.
And I
please.
had that too. I had people that was trying to put the fire on me while I was still burning.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
See, those haters, or maybe the people that don't understand you, they may not even be haters, but they just can't understand where you are at the level
And
where
they
you are.
think they're helping you.
Yes. They're,
And they loving you. But they do not know the purpose and the will of God
That's
in your
good.
life. They have not taken the time
That's good.
to say, God, do you want her to be on TV and 52 years later saying, you know, how you brought her through? Do you want her to do that? They didn't take that time to find out this is what this has to be.
Yes.
This is why she has to stay. She's going to be on TV with a mustard beautiful dress on and hair just gorgeous. And I want her to hold her head up and say, I did it for her, and encourage someone else. But when they say, leave him, that was against the will of God.
That's it. That's it.
But to say yes to them was to say no to God.
Yes. Matter of fact, I said in my book that every time we say yes to Jesus, then we're saying no to the enemy, his plans, and what he wants to destroy us and take us away from that plan.
Wow. Time flies. We could talk forever on this. I could just sit here and just gleam off of you, because I may get married again. And as much as I know now, and I'm a much different person, you still need that wisdom.
Wisdom.
You still need that wisdom. So if you could
Godly
look in your camera and just speak to someone, because someone's about to get a divorce, and they're saying, I'm just not happy. And I told a guy one time, he told me, he said, I'm just not happy with her anymore. I said, well, if you do, you're going to set your ministry back about 10 to 20 years. And he did it. He divorced his wife. There may be somebody out there who's getting ready to say, I'm tired. I've given up. Give them some words of encouragement and close us out.
I'll be glad to. One thing that I have, the core of me is love. And no matter what situation you're in, we're talking about marriage, but it's bigger than just marriage.
Really?
It's no matter what situation you find, what storm you're finding yourself in today. I believe that when you know that you are in the darkness, but you do not have to stay in the darkness, and even in that dark time, that wilderness time, I believe that if you can understand that that's not your destiny, that your destiny God has set for you, going to give you a hope and a good future, then I believe that you can weather the storm with him, and it'll bring you to your destiny and the plan that God has for you. Stay in the storm with faith, believe, and know for sure your past does not dictate to you your future. And your future can be absolutely, positively, all that God has called us to be.
So you said, weather the storm, weather the storm. And the storm can't last forever.
And it can't last forever.
It can't last. You remember Hurricane Harvey came through here, and it was moving at 2 miles an hour? Couldn't stay there, though. Can't stay there.
Can't stay there.
Can't stay there.
Can't. It can't. Can't.
Thank you so much.
It can't.
You come back.
Sure.
Annette, you're a friend of Charlotte Jolivett. How did her book help you?
I've learned that not to see people in the natural, but see people as God sees them.